It's a big deal to me if you don't know. Now you know I'ma change your life. Just put your hands in the air.
What's up, Kansas City? Thank you for joining us for part 3 of our interview with Mrs. Mamie Hughes Rodgers. I'd like to open up with a quote by Mary McLeod Bethune, who you met, and ask you to tell us that story. We have a powerful potential in our youth, she says, and we must have the courage to change old ideas and practices so that we may direct their power towards good ends.
Mary McLeod Bethune was just a wonderful lady, who along with Mary McLeod Bethune, and so I almost said the gentleman who along with her helped her establish the college. And I understand she had $1.50, but I never really knew that for sure. But I do know that when I got to meet her, she was very kind and understanding, with a strong feeling for what us as young people. I was in high school when I met her, and we were at a family home, and one of their friends had died, and so we were there for a visit. And we were seated around in this family room, and she came to the door, and my friends were, and so she came over and took my hands, and she said, "Come on, finish what
You're supposed
you
to stand up. This is someone who's coming to the
room."
room.
She said to them, "Okay, I helped her do what she knows she's supposed to do. Now I'm telling you all what you." But it was so funny, because I kept wiggling and sort of looking at them. But
What was it like working with her on? Did you work on a project together? Or?
Did not work with anything, just knew about her and knew about the things she did.
Amazing.
That, oh dear. It was Negro Women's Council, because Dorothy Height, H-E-I-G-H-T, Dorothy Height, kept that going.
National
And
Negro Council.
but Mary McLeod Bethune was somebody that Eleanor Roosevelt had great respect for, and who had things that Eleanor Roosevelt endorsed.
Now I'd like to ask you a little bit to give me your impression of some of the first ladies, whether you met them personally or you've seen what's been depicted in the news media. President Michelle Obama recently hosted military families, as most first ladies do every time around this holiday season. What is your impression of Miss Nancy Reagan when she was in the White House?
I did not have too much to say about her, did not know really enough about her. I just knew her from a distance and would hear things every now and then, but not like perhaps one or two of the others. Rosalind Carter came with Jimmy Carter to Kansas City one time, and
Tell us about that.
I was able to meet them at the county courthouse, and we just had some informal conversation. I shared with her that we both had daughters named Amy, and so, as I said, it was just one of those informal conversations where we talked about family, where President Carter felt wonderful about being president, but he also enjoyed being a part of family, and he respected other families.
Now, what do you think about Hillary? Do you think that she has a chance to become our next president?
I certainly think she has a good chance, and I think there are some of us who are working to see to it.
Hint, hint.
And don't mind saying that.
Michelle Obama, she's been campaigning, or not campaigning, but she's been very advocate about children eating healthy lunches and being physically fit and exercise. What are your thoughts about our first black lady?
I think she can do no wrong. I think the things that she has been doing are the down-to-earth, ordinary things that she knows families need to have people like her supporting. And not only supporting, but really giving ideas as to how this you want to do. Okay, well, here's the way you can do it, and here's the support I will get for you in order to do that.
That's awesome, Mrs. Hughes Rodgers. What is a challenge facing civil rights organizations today?
The challenge today is a continuing of the coming together. Okay, now, at times we've had a little problem with you and your territory, with me and mine. But then one day we woke up and said, we have the same common goal. And if we join forces, many voices make light the work. There's strength in numbers, and so let's come together. And I believe that there are groups that respect one another. A lot of these folks that are picketing, that are having their signs, are getting support from groups elsewhere. We can't come and march with you, but we support what you are doing.
What would you like to see happen in Kansas City in the next 5 years?
Okay, you got to my favorite subject, and you are sitting in the middle of it. It's called 18th and Vine Historic District.
Uh-oh.
Now, I would like to tell you that I have a love affair with 18th and Vine that started 70 years ago when even 71 or 2. When I was in high school, Joe Turner sang this song about Piney Brown and crying and at 18th and Vine, or look, I can't remember the exact lyrics, but 18th and Vine. Don't ask me why, that just registered with me. It may have been him singing the song. And when I got to Fisk University, I met 2 gentlemen from Kansas City.
What were their names?
Robert Ellis, who was there before Leonard Hughes, but when I met Robert Ellis, you're from Kansas City. Tell me about 18th and Vine. What do you know about 18th and Vine? You're not from... I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Talking point.
And then when I met Leonard, and that was a year later.
Was Judge Hughes from Kansas City also?
Yes, and when he said, I'm from Kansas, where are you from? I said, Florida, Jacksonville. Where are you from? Kansas City. 18th and Vine. What do you know about 18th and Vine? Same thing. Nothing. That's why I'm asking you. And of course, when we marry, he says, I know where I have to take her, and that's 18th and Vine. And I just have always had that. When I got here, Uncle George came and got us, and at that time, as I think I said to many people, during that time, 18th and Vine was was a town within the town. And there were things happening here, kind of music called Kansas City Jazz was born here, right around the corner at the Mutual Musicians Foundation, which was Union 625, where black musicians went to get their gigs. Negro Leagues had an office here. They, of course, were formed by Rube Foster over at Paseo Y, and there were just things within this area. And when I came to Kansas City from 9 to 29, from Truce to, and it wasn't an exact area on the east, because out where I live now in Dunbar was an area that people lived, but between that and, say, Indiana, or as I said, I'm not sure what an eastern boundary was, but I do know that what is Manuel Cleaver 2 Boulevard now, and to the east of that was Dunbar, and they say Dunbar leads. but it was not a part of the city, had no city services except electricity.
Now, what would you like to see happen here in the 18th and Vine area?
I want to see a continuation of what is here, of what has started, but I want to see some more businesses come. I want to see people coming here. I want the Convention and Visitors Bureau more and more to celebrate 18th and Vine. People, when I was here in this Black Economic Union in the Lincoln Building, I would get calls from people in Antwerp, Belgium. We'd like to come to 18th and Vine. If we come, they were at the Mielbach Hotel at that time. I don't know how many people from however, but I do know that 18th and Vine was very well known. And the thing, Jane Flynn is who did the research and developed and got it listed, it being the 18th and Vine Historic District, listed on the local register of historic places and the national register. Now I do have to jump back to the Black Economic Union having that industrial park they wanted to have from 17th Street to the railroad tracks, and that's when Jane Flynn, administrator of the Landmarks Commission, said, oh no, that's a historic area. The Mutual Musicians around the corner was the only national historic landmark in the city of Kansas City, like Truman's Home in Independence, because of the things that were done. And see, white people came in and around 18th and Vine Historic District. It was just that we didn't go out to the various places, but it was well integrated, still is, and it can continue to be, and it can grow, and it can be what we know it once was.
Now, Mrs. Hughes Rodgers, I have one last question, and then I'll give you the final words. One of your role models that I've heard you state was your maternal grandmother, who said, very seldom do you do things for people who do for you, but it's important to do something for somebody. Mrs. Hughes Rodgers, I wanted to ask you, and I know I did not give you this question ahead of time, but do you believe in an afterlife as a reward or consequence for what you've done here while you've been on earth?
I certainly do. I do believe in an afterlife. I believe that I must do. I am Christian, and I do believe that if I want you to forgive me, I have to forgive you. But you mentioned my grandmother, and I would like to tell you the cousin that I made reference to in Houston, Texas, reminds me, do you remember what our grandmother told us? She told us a lot. All white people are not our enemies, and all colored people are not our friends.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Mrs. Hughes Rodgers. Any closing words?
No, just keep doing all of the good things that you are doing, talking about what is going on and what can go on.
I'd like to thank you very much. You're a very prolific, beautiful lady. I hope that one day when I start my family, I'm able to pass down some of the traits that I've been raised with and some of the things, wonderful, precious gems of things that I've heard here today. What's Up Kansas City? Go online. More interviews are available at www.whatsupkansascity.net. And remember, the sky's the limit. Aim for the moon. If you miss, at the very least, you would have landed among the stars. Take care until next time.
Wonderful.
I'm IFBB Bikini Pro Cat Williams, and when I'm not working out in the gym, I'm searching the web on Cascade Media and What's Up Kansas City. So make sure you check them out.